The Spanish had a 100-year head start. Their cities of gold and silver dominated the New World. England, fresh off its victory against the Armada, was desperate to catch up. In 1607, 3 small ships landed in Virginia to found a colony. They weren't seeking religious freedom, they were seeking profit. But what they found instead was a nightmare of disease, starvation, and death that would push them to the absolute limits of human survival. This is the story of the disastrous first English colony in America, Jamestown. The mission, funded by the Virginia Company, was a disaster from the start. They chose a swampy, mosquito-infested patch of land to build their fort. The colonists were mostly gentlemen, unused to labor, who spent their days searching for gold that wasn't there instead of planting crops. They were completely dependent on the local Powhatan Confederacy, a powerful alliance of Native American tribes led by the shrewd Chief Powhatan. The relationship was tense and often violent. The colony was plagued by disease from the foul water and a dire lack of food. Within months, half the colonists were dead. The colony was saved from total collapse by the leadership of one man, Captain John Smith. A tough, pragmatic soldier, Smith imposed military discipline, famously declaring, "He that will not work shall not eat." He forced the gentlemen to farm and bullied the Powhatan into trading for food. But after Smith was injured in a gunpowder accident and forced to return to England, the colony descended into chaos. The winter of 1609 became known as the Starving Time. With no leadership and a hostile Powhatan cutting off their food supply, the colonists ate their horses, their dogs, their rats, and eventually the corpses of their own dead. By the spring, only 60 of the 500 colonists remained alive. The colony was about to be abandoned when a supply fleet arrived with a new governor and a new vision. But the true savior of Jamestown was a man named John Rolfe, who arrived with a stolen strain of sweet Spanish tobacco. The native tobacco was harsh, but Rolfe's new hybrid was a massive hit in England. Suddenly, Jamestown had found its gold. Tobacco became the cash crop that would fuel the colony's growth. To work the vast plantations, the first enslaved Africans were brought to Virginia in 1619. In that same year, the first representative government in North America, the House of Burgesses, was established. The desperate, starving camp was finally becoming a permanent, functioning society. Jamestown was not the noble story of pilgrims and freedom. It was a brutal, greedy, and desperate enterprise that barely survived. But its survival laid the foundations for the English-speaking world in North America. The introduction of tobacco, slavery, and representative government in a single year, 1619, created the complex and contradictory DNA of a future nation. But just to the north, a different group of English settlers was about to arrive, driven not by profit, but by a powerful and uncompromising vision of God.